Well, happy summer sizzler day here at Laurel Park. I am Callie Francois alongside Keith Fustel. Nice races that we had yesterday, a couple of doubles by Toledo, Gomez, and a couple of nice prices that came up yesterday. Could line up a little bit for some of these races again today. Keith, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, late pick 5 was not hit. So with us, we have a carryover, a good carryover heading into this afternoon. Couple big efforts yesterday, real quick to touch upon. Bomboloni, how about that firster that got the job done? Just had a hard trip early, troubled out of the gate all the way to the 3/8 pole, was able to surge and run down a leader. Kenny Cox with Synergy Star at a big price. 77 buyer, 48.20 return and mutual. Premier Choice on the turf. Everything got kind of steamy late, right?
It did.
These prices. And finish it off with Flight of Bourbon. You got to love the name of that one. Gets the job done for some guys up in Carroll County, if I recall. Mike Gathingen's buddy, Maryland Mallet, 1460, 46 buyer for that one. So now into a big day. Match series, 4 big stakes races, the Frank J. DeFrancis. We love it.
We've got a lot going on, but let's take a look at the track real quick to see how that's going to play up. When I was on it this morning, rode beautifully with the track is fast and the turf is firm. We're ready to go for today. A nice breeze we've got going on. Temperature, nice, easy, breezy, 83 degrees. Don't see any rain coming, so a wonderful day that we have coming up. Maybe a little bit humid today, a touch humid, but I don't see that being too humid today as we've had in the past. Perfect summer day that we have going on. But let's talk a little bit about some promotions that we have specifically for today. And let's start with our Summer Sizzler gift card giveaway happening today. 5 $100 Visa gift cards given away on site to customers each stakes day here in July. So for today, enter at Gift Services. Winners are going to be selected randomly, but you have to be on site to be able to claim your prize at the gift card giveaway. So I believe Audra told me race 2 is where it starts. So we get going on that really quickly. And then we have a new promotion for today, the Hit It and Split It with MJC. Free registration is required. So essentially, customers who hit one of our promotional bets share the prize associated with that bet along with everybody else who makes a winning bet. So let me put it in layman's terms. For example, if 40 people register for today and hit that $4,000 late pick 4 that we see today, each receives a $100 bonus added to that. So it's the best for, I don't know how you see it, but it's the best way for customers to earn even more on those winning bets that they have. So that starts in the late pick 4 today, that Hit It and Split It.
It's like the Cajun term, lagniappe, right? A little extra, a little bit more. I'll take that from Rodman. He taught me a few things about New Orleans, a little of the chatter down there. But, yeah, a little icing on the cake if you do happen to take the late pick 4. So that's, take advantage, but you've got to sign up. Make sure you sign up. If you don't, you're going to miss out when you hit that bet.
It's free registration. Log on to your account at expressbet.com to register for that. But let's get into the first race, a claiming 16 a mile here on the turf. And Keith, we both land on hot choice for, David Howard, Kevin Gomez on top.
Yeah, we scratched the 7, scratched the 9. I was going to use Dixie's Fascinator here a little bit, but we're going to be quick through these early races. Hot choice, I think, dropping down in class. This is the needed drop. Has run fairly respectable against much better. You go back to the 2-back race, I'm Blushing, even further back to Bubba Lisa. These key runners, there is some questionable speed types in here. I think Gomez, who knows this horse, can kind of drop in, save a little ground, bring a finish. This little drop in class should get her over the top. Princess however you want to pronounce that.
Javancia.
Beautiful. Javancia, right, with Horacio Camaranos. Another one. Comes out of some good races, some good back figures, works, will be tactical, will be part of that pace flow, I believe. And I think a price. Chica Rabiosa might get away at an okay price, trying the turf for the first time, but go, set, go, bottom side. Sibs have run okay. You got a half sibling, ran a 78. Chauffeur ran okay the other day on the turf. Might be part of that pace and take them a long way in the opener. Let's go to the second.
In the opener, race number 2, maiden special weight, 5.5 on the turf. But that starts your early pick 4, Keith. So let's see how you get this Summer Sizzler early pick 4.
Yes. All right. Little sizzler here. $24. My old buddy Ernie Clark. God love him.
He's gone. Close yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, we were close yesterday. He'd say, honey, put away the pots and the pans. He'd hit a bet. We're going to the Sizzler. I don't even know if Sizzler's around anymore. But there you go. 1-2. Mo Honey. I love that name. And starts you off 1 and 2 in race 2. Race 3, we're going to go 6 and 8. They look like the 2. Ripken, as one of our fans just stated, Cal's old number, breaking from the 8 post. You got to like that. There's your hunch play of the day. Race 4 with a 2, 6, 7, and 8. Race 5, we go 3 deep with the 4, 6, and 9 price play. That firster, photocopy for Sean McDermott, $24 for the early pick 4.
There you go. Sean McDermott in that early pick 4 for a nice $24. But race number 2, back to this maiden special weight, 5.5 on the turf. We see it just slightly different. I've got the 2 on top. He rolls. Why not? This horse is running for Yomar Ortiz, but you see no money, mo money, more honey on top.
Mo money, mo honey. By Uncle Mo, a $14,000 purchase. So that doesn't speak, you're a little worried, right?
Right.
The mare was really good. 9 for 10, just an absolute killer. Went back and looked at her PPs. Emerald Downs was the queen. I mean, ran fast, topped it in 88. Siblings, 3 siblings combined 0 for 6. Still, nothing to get excited about. Nothing to get truly excited about in this field.
Correct.
Some good works over this racetrack. Just has to overcome the inside post with that okay break. I think we'll be able to send up, show some speed. Let's hope Mo Money, Mo Honey, tab the tote. This is a tough race to line. I think this horse is going to draw plenty of play for Feliciano.
Plenty of play for Feliciano. Feliciano having a win last week. Let's see if he can do it again. But let's kick on to race number 3, the maiden claiming 45. A mile and an eighth on the turf. We both see General's Duty on top. I was tempted to put this horse as my best bet of the day. Angel Suarez retains the ride for today. Hiccup at the quarter pole and got shut off 3 jumps before the wire last time out. Just a little bit of a not disappointing, but just a bummer, trip. It happens. This is the turf. This is why the turf is the turf. But I see this horse landing it as you. Yeah,
General's Duty. Ripken come out of that same race on June the 25th. Ripken got a beautiful ride from Caramanos. Was able to save ground, eased out, didn't really miss a beat. Worked between horses, got the lead, just couldn't get it done.
Right.
General's Duty had the worst of it.
Right.
Stalled around the turn, worked through traffic late, steadied late, gets that extra eighth of a mile. These two will both bring a finish against this group. I think it's key around these two.
They will.
6-8. 8-6. Ripken, though, trying to get it done for man Sal Sinatra.
Correct. I did. Okay. I just a heads up to the trailer. I did send in a typo, so I do have the 6-8 on top. But we can talk about settle that for later. Race number 4, starter optional 37 furlongs on the dirt. We both like the number 8, Soaring Bird. A big scratch in the 5-8 to 5 Picasso for Will Walden. But Will Walden's other one is coming up with Toledo on top on the outside. I'll dig into a little bit in the afternoon about the other horse that Will claim as far as his first after the claim. So he takes a similar approach. He claims that a horse, he tries for essentially double in field quality and then sees what he can do with it. But after that last performance, it is encouraging this time. So wasn't able. It didn't happen for Will the first time he tried to do it, so let's see if he can get it done again. He knows he understands the Laurel culture. He's done some work for Hugh McMahon prior to getting his license, so he understands Kentucky, he understands New York. I've worked with him personally, but I like the placement that he has. But again, we'll dig into that a little bit more. I love Lacey Gaudette's Underneath Glory Song at a price, absolutely. But Keith, take it away.
Yeah, Glory Song. I am going to use that one in there. You're right. They kind of hold the level. Claim 2 starts back off the break. Shows some pretty good speed. Chased a very fast pace. There's not a legitimate flow. This horse has been able to carry that speed, going a mile and battle it out. No good on the turf. Back to the preferred surface. They don't drop. This horse, I think, carries the speed a long way here for Lacey Gaudette and Johan Rosado. I go to the 7, Pit Boss. I just think, he needed a little fresh, and he comes out of some big races, Churchill Downs, Oaklawn Park. Bullet Works coming in, Sharp Works. This horse is going to be ready. Blinkers going. I think we got a stalk and pounce kind of trip coming from Pit Boss. 7-8-6-2. I will use the 8 in there. Proven it. And Kieran's horse. Honor the Fleet kind of got back at it last time. I think Honor the Fleet works well here. It's 7-8.
Works well there, but there are too many intriguing horses that I put on top as you did. So, but let's kick on to race number 5, that maiden claiming 20, a mile and 16th on the turf. We both like the 9, Solomon's Choice. Easy choice to go for with Mikey Girales, Forest Boyce. Mikey Girales 25% with that dirt to turf, being able to come out of it. So hopefully doesn't get carried out 5-6 wide this time. I think that was the really biggest thing about that horse. But you have the 6 on top photocopy for Sean McDermott as a first-time starter, which I do love. I love the Sean McDermott on the turf.
Just a little reach, like we talked about yesterday when approaching these cards, these contentious races. Look for a little bit of a price, key on top and bottom with 3, 4, maybe 5 horses. Even the field sometimes, if you can afford it. If you've got something that 8 to 10 to 1 range, that's what you're going to get with photocopy. Certainly, Solomon's Choice, the horse to beat. Duralis steadily off the claim. But this firster here is a full to favorite Image, who's trained by Sean McDermott, has won on the turf, won a couple times on the turf, goes to the front, carries the speed. No Lasix in debut, But this guy has had some horses run big at big prices. That's my little shot here, photocopy. But definitely going to use the 9. The 9 will sustain a run here for Forrest Boyce and Mike Girales. Also look at Ian Adil. Ian Adil is out of a mare this Dance's Take. Really fast on the turf. Did a lot of good work. A lot of money won on the turf sprinting.
Right.
Can he stretch out? We're going to see. They wanted to go long with a respectable dirt number first out. If he can transfer that dirt number to the turf going long, I think it works in here. Definitely worth a shot with Chambetta. So I go 6-9-4-5. Laurel agrees with a little bit of trouble last time he was on the turf.
I like that Iron in a deal. What helps is that the Dam Sire Gators and Beer is 29% with that second time route, so does help that out a little bit. I like that underneath. Race number 6 is a claiming 10 event, 6 furlongs on the turf. But before we get into that, let's just touch on my pick 6 getting into this race. And so I tend to pyramid scheme this a little bit. I go easy on this race, but race number 9 is where I really tend to go wide in that race, which is, just finding my place, which is the big Dreyfus. There are a lot of talented fillies, I think, that could take that either way. A couple of these, you have to race 8. Easy. I could have gone shorter in that race with the two fillies, Feed Esprit on top, who is my top selection, and then with race number 7. Interesting enough, I'm curious. I'm just questionable. I have Pixelate in my picks, but I'm just questionable about Pixelate. I know you have a stat coming up on him, and then race number 10. I have to go with, you have to go with the obvious Mike Maker and the Wonder Where Craig Is. I have Wonder Where Craig Is on top for today with that outside position. And then race number 11, just to finish up, including that late pick 4 that we had, finishing up with Summer Velvet, Dale Capuano, dropping this down, trying to get a win. Everybody's chasing after Claudio Gonzalez for that winning trainer title. But let's kick on to race number 6 in that claiming 10 event, non-winners of 2. We both land on the number 3, Jerry's Gem, and why not Damon DeVico? I understand that this is a little bit of a cut. You probably could cut this a little bit lower to make it really finalize that win, but we've got a change of pattern in the horse, so a lot of confidence, and it can go on very, very well from there. Yeah,
tough to see what surface he's really better on. Scratch out of a turf race yesterday, ends up here. We've got a couple scratches in the 6, scratch of the 2 Glorious Mahomes, the other DeVico horse, and the 9 Thruster. Jerry's Gem was just dead game, broke like a rocket. Took pressure every step of the way, denied I Believe in Rock and Roll late. I look at this field. I don't see a ton of speed. Boy, I'd like to see him come out of the gate like he did last time on the turf. His 2-back trial on the dirt, respectable. He's caught against the bias, a little traffic inside. You didn't really want to be down in there, but I like the effort. Burks has come back to run well. There's your shot there, Jerry's Gem. He'll be forward a long way.
There's a lot of ways that race could go, but I think as long as Damon's horse jumps on top, we've got a solid field. But that's the undercard for our stakes action today. But let's get into a little bit commercial break. We'll be back with our stakes action after this commercial.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
Here we go. Let's get into our stakes action today for the Summer Sizzler on Saturday here at Laurel. And let's start off with the Prince George's County Stakes, a 1.5 miles on the turf. Got to have a couple of ship-ins, what I like. But we have a stat on your top selection, Keith. That's Pixelate for Mike Stidham, Javian Toledo on top.
Stidham pretty good here. Now, he hasn't run a slew of horses, but over the last 5 years, 27%, 8 for 15 in the money in these non-graded turf stakes in Maryland. 284 the ROI. I think the question for Pixelate is the layoff. Off 202 days. He's fresh. When he's on, I think he's just a touch better than these horses, so he's going to have to be right. I like the progression of works coming in for Pixelate. Won this race last year. This was run at Pimlico, remember, okay? First try over the Laurel turf course. Not a lot of speed in here. Now, he doesn't have a slew of speed either, but he's going to be fresh. I think he'll be able to get position. And his main 2 rivals, they really had a fierce stretch battle last time out, Beacon Hill and EONS. If we can go to that video. Can we do that, guys? We're going to look at that race back at Parks. This was June the 14th. Here's the key. Beacon Hill was down inside the 4. To the outside is EONS in that lighter blue cap outside of him. And things really get a little interesting. I like the effort here. Beacon Hill trying to save ground with Flavien Pratt. but gets caught in a little pickle. You see EONS move to the outside now, gets the jump. Okay, Beacon Hill's kind of work out a trip, full momentum. Now he's got to regroup and really move up and get even. Here's what I didn't like about Beacon Hill. He gets right alongside, and he looks like he's going to go by. EONS to the inside. Outside is Beacon Hill. Look at, now we go. Nose to nose to the wire, and I thought he was able to get on by. Just can't do it. I think today, looking at the setup, you might see Beacon Hill get the jump on EONS. But Pixelate going to be my top selection. He's beating they've taken turns beating each other, but I like the way Pixelate's coming into this race fresh. He deserved a little break.
He deserved the break. He's coming in, so that's my biggest question as well. So while the barn is 20% first after the layoff, which is fine and fair and all as well there, I like the last time this horse had a little bit of a touch of a break was the 27th November Fairgrounds, where that horse, he was on the inside, was a little bit sharp coming up. So that might be that may be the kind of performance that we see back in that first back in the fall at Fairgrounds in November. So that's the kind of trip that I foresee this horse having, and that's the best kind of trip that Pixelate could get today. Now, referring back to EONS and Beacon Hill, when we were looking at that video, EONS was on the inside with Trevor McCarthy. I took a look at that head-on, and what happened was when EONS got close, when Beacon Hill got close enough to EONS, what Trevor did is Trevor race road took out that horse a little bit. There wasn't any bumping, but it was just enough
to intimidate.
Just enough to intimidate, and I think that's where Beacon Hill got it. Because I had Beacon Hill on top, and just before the show, I switched it up just based off of that. So this is where we get into a rider's race, and that's where I think Jorge Rui and Trevor McCarthy, I see a very, very similar, EONS getting a very, very similar ride from both. I think Jorge is going to know exactly when to ask this horse and when to go, and I think he's going to pick up on that very well. I think Rui is going to be set to give a bang-up ride on this horse.
Yeah, EONS not a horse with that quick burst. He's going to, get him out in the clear at the 3/8 and then just ride him home, and hopefully he can grind it out. They look like the three. English Tavern got a great trip last time. We had a good price over at Pimlico. He's back. He's going to have to step up just a little bit more if he's going to be able to outdo those top three selections.
This is the time to do it. So this is the time to do it. Sheldon Russell on top. Let's see how that pans out. But race number 8, the Almond North, 6.5 on the dirt for the fillies, and so I love how you have Kaylosaurus on top. Let's get into Kaylosaurus really quick. Right away for Tim Kreiser, Horacio Karamanos on top. This filly is deadly when she comes over here to Maryland, and she runs well even when she has trouble, and that's what I most make the biggest note on. So she comes off of a little bit of a layoff last time out. I've seen her run well off of layoff, but I do think she needs a race before priming up. So I think she's primed up perfectly, second off the layoff, coming back here to a track that she knows and loves to run at. So I like that you're taking a stab with her on top.
6.5 furlongs. What about Chubwagon? What, 11 for 12 lifetime? I mean, you gotta love Chubwagon. I mean, she just runs that same rate over and over and over again. Tremendous how she's held form. But Kaylosaurus back to Laurel. She called a track at Penn last time. If you go to the Stats Race Lens for Equibase, it's a site that we have. If has some great information, you can create your own angles. Try that out if you'd like. Kaylosaurus called a track, got the rating strong speed edge. Okay, so difficult to close in. That's the race. Fiat Esprit just ran off the screen there, 2.5 at a big 99 buyer. Can Fiat Esprit come back and match that? That's my question. I like the 6.5 furlongs for her. They're going to be, 2 or 3 horses, I think, banging heads by the time they get to about the 3/16. So lurking will be Kaylosaurus to go by late.
And that's where Kaylosaurus gets her advantage. We all know Chubwagon is the horse to beat, which is why I think we both picked some horses underneath just for a little bit of flavor. But Fiat Esprit, I'm getting some good reactions from the barn, from the connections. I just saw her the other day, and we see her here at Penn National making just this wonderful thing. And the thing that Xavier was telling me about is that he really, in this race, is where, in his mind and what he felt as her regular rider, she's really turned a corner. After the skip it, which wasn't her ideal race, she comes out here. She gets a little bit of time. She comes out here and she just blasts off. And he says this filly, and even in training after this race, he said this filly's different. So a lot of confidence from Perez after this win. And not just in the first week or two after when their adrenaline is still in their system. This is last week. This is the week leading up to this.
Yep.
This is several days when I had the conversation with him, and I gave him a leg up on her a couple days ago, and she looks fantastic. She's a brick house right now. So I'm going
Okay.
off of what the information that I'm given. So might as well go for it. That's the information I have for you guys.
This is a shorter field, but a really high-quality field. And you're right.
Hot
Fade is
field.
free. Take nothing away from her. I just want to see if she come back. She
Right.
looked great going
Fair.
through the wire right there. That's as strong as she's finished through the wire in a while watching that video. So that's a good point. Good video, Callie. And Chubwagon, again, will be lurking. Off the break, September to June, came back unfazed at 30 cents to the dollar. This is a step up. This is where the rubber meets the road again for her. But she's definitely going to give a big effort today. 5-3-2-4. Buy the best, maybe to kind of roll into it late. She's improving. Second start, right, as a 3-year-old. There you go.
Second start. Tried to do it.
Good
did
field.
a little experiment on the turf. Coming back here on the dirt. But let's go in the Georgia Ann Hales. Big Dreyfus
Oh,
stakes.
yeah.
It's a mile and a eighth on the turf, and we you land on the number 8, and we've got a video spotlight on the 8th.
Okay.
PETRICOR for Bill Mott and Victor Carrasco coming in hot.
Yeah, and came over off from September, was over there in France running, comes back with a win in an A other than got bet down there. Keeneland was able to kind of find a little bit of a seam, right, and get the job done. I like the charge that this filly brings. Back on Lasix today. Next out was favored over some really good horses, some graded stakes types in the Minjula. Says a lot, the talent that they think this girl's got, teaming up Mott, Carrasco. They scored here with Poppy Flower a few weeks ago, right, and the Stormy Blues. Carrasco in for a big day today. He could have a huge afternoon. He's riding well. PETRICOR, I think, is the best sustainable run in here. Not a lot splitting these fillies and mares. Trip is going to be key. There's not a lot of horses that want the front. Going to be a rider's race. You've got to get position. It's got to stay in range by the time they hit the top of the stretch.
Exactly. I think she was I think she was just a little bit ill-timed with Florent last time out. Had obviously had that wide trip, just didn't help. So we're going to forgive her for that. But as you said, this is a rider's race. In this race, I go with the number 4, Bella Gamba, for my price play of the day with the blinkers on. It just really faltered last time out. She was on that inside post, and she was the longest one in there. Maybe just using the blinkers specifically for that, because for this filly at this distance back in Europe, she always took a bit of an early command. Probably comparatively from the 3/8 on, that's when she needs to be making her early sustaining move. She doesn't have this crazy quick turn of foot, but I'm looking at that battle that she did despite not breaking on top. She put a fantastic battle putting in that effort. She had to make a spot for herself at Hawthorne. This filly has some gumption. James Graham put a beautiful ride on her, so if we get more of that ride in the Blushing Stakes over at Fairgrounds, only falters that she's just a little on the inside, which is again why we have the blinkers on, as well as there's going to be natural speed to contend with on the inside. Just making this gradual move from the European style to the American running style, especially with those added blinkers on.
Okay, I'll toss it in a hurry. A 1 1/8 looks like it's kind of pushing the limits for her. A mile I really like, a 1 16th, okay. But she goes third off the break. 31% is McGahee, this type of layoff, right, on the turf. She's faced the right kind, and it'll be interesting. I think Forrest is going to have her into the race early. I think she's going to use that positional speed because we talked about there's not a lot in this race. She'll try to make a move, maybe even try to separate by the time they hit the quarter to the 8th pole. That's when it's going to get tough for her. Can she withstand the closing rushes of a PETRICOR, of your horse, maybe an Alms deciding vote? They're all going to be charging home that last 1/8 of a mile. My edge goes to PETRICOR. I just think she might be just a touch classier than these.
I think
not much.
Not much, which is why I'm just kicking in for a price just for fun, just to see if I can take a stab at making a little bit of money in that race. But let's get into our feature race of the day, the Frank D. DeFrashis Memorial Dash Stakes. 6 furlongs on the dirt. We've got our hometown buddy Wonder Where Craig is coming back on the outside. Let's take a look at that video spotlight that we have for Wonder Where Craig is. Sheldon Russell back in the irons from that. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. That was the 3 over deuces. So we're going to take a look at the 3 over deuces that we both have underneath for Gary Capuano. and made a very good showing in the Maryland Sprint. This is the Penn National finish. Had a fantastic finish. Wasn't able to get it done. Really wasn't able to get in through a spot. But look at that finish in between and just faltered. Didn't have the room to get that momentum going. This is a horse that needs that time to get that momentum going. And with the recent races being placed a little bit earlier, that was really a little bit too much for him to overcome. But with some monster speed that could be happening early on, this is 3 over deuces is placed in the right spot, has just enough of that turn of foot to be able to maybe finish and get a nice little slice of it.
Yeah, I think it's a value shot here, 3's over deuces. Talked about that same day with Vieta Spree and Kaylosaurus. That track that night, very difficult to make up ground. This horse was well back early, closed, had to weave through a little traffic. There is definitely going to be speed to target here. He might just be the one to go over the top late to pull a little bit of an upset here in the Franc de France. He's got to love Frank. That went way too soon. I think I went back today, 1989, and man, he was a man of the people here. Loved racing. The fans loved him. He was always out, present. Sorely missed, gone too early, but great to have this race in his honor, in his memory. I love it here. We've had a lot of really good horses. Housebuster, our buddy Action Andy's horse, Action Andy, won it, immortalized. So we've had some good luck with the local horses as well.
Good
so
luck.
Wonder where Craig is. We'll see if he can get it done, right?
There we go.
The local horse gets it done today. No good overseas, right? In Meydan. Lasix back on. Home court advantage. I think that positional speed outside, he can kind of use that. And I don't know if he's going to be able to separate from this group because there's some really quality speed horses, but I do think he's going to be able to maybe put Special Reserve into a little bit of a tough spot around the turn. Special Reserve, high-quality horse, off a little time. He is going to have to be tied on to get it done today, but he's certainly he's got the quality to do it. And there's Victor Carrasco again.
Well, and then looking back last year, the Francis Memorial Dash when it was at the grade 3 level, but had put it, and that's the question, where he's going to have a lot of talent in this last 16th. This last 16th is going to make a bit of this race, and this horse has been able to battle in the past, so that's where I have a little bit of faith on top. And again, Special Reserve, blistering gate speed. Depending on how that goes, wonder where Craig is. If it's too quick, he can sit right off of the Special Reserve and just sit there and just sit, chill, sit neat, sit tighty, and just be able to make that perfect move and probably go head-to-head at the top of the stretch, and then we have a proper horse race. Yeah,
I mean, you see the types. Special Reserve won the Maryland Sprint back last year in May, set just off of it, rode kind of the wave of the racetrack, if I remember correctly, that afternoon. But look, 1, 2, 3, 400 or higher buyer figures in a row, making moves in quality horses like Aloha West, your Breeders' Cup winner.
Yep.
He has the ability, and trust me, to sit there if he needs to, just off of it and go ahead and attack by the time they turn for home. We talked about 3's over deuces. Picking time, a little shot underneath as well. Has won over this racetrack, the city of Laurel. Needed his last. Another one to come rallying into this flow if it gets really contested.
And that leads us to our nightcap of the day, which is claiming 10.5.5 on the dirt, which ends that hit it and split it late pick 4 action. But we both land on Summer Velvet for Dale Capuano, Carlos Lopez on top. And this filly, the speed filly, this fits Carlos very, very well. It's a sharp drop. Again, I see it. I kind of see it as this is a tight finish for this trainer title. That's not exactly what Dale's thinking, but hey, go for the win, especially with what happened on the turf last time out. Was steady enough. This horse is steady enough to do some damage, especially at this level.
Yeah, the right spot coming right back. Carlos put the horse into the race. Some speed to the inside, which some is 9. Special Freedom, I don't know, sometimes comes out of the gate a little bit slow. No More Mass showed that speed 2 races back. I didn't see her getting to the front like she did, but I tell you what, that was a sharp performance. She's tactical. Somerville, I think, tries to get the jump. We'll go on the attack somewhere mid-turn, try to separate upper stretch, but you're going to have to be looking out for No More Mask and even Special Freedom from the back. I don't think Special Freedom has that kind of speed.
Right.
Dolce Kira as well.
Right.
Ran into a horse that had some speed to separate last time. Also will be rallying late. But there you go, 7-1-6-5 in the nightcap for a really good 11 race car. Great job by stakes coordinator and the whole gang in the racing office. So, Marie, good job. And just quality fields abound here today at Laurel Park.
Especially with just so much stakes action going on all over the East Coast. What a what a fantastic day that we have of stakes races coming up here. You don't want to miss out. It's good. It's a good. We're going to see some fantastic performances, I think, this afternoon. But that wraps it up for the most part for our morning show. But let's dig into your best bet and value play of the day really quick.
Oh,
if you don't mind.
That's right.
Are you okay?
Throw them up there. Give me a reminder, because all these races. Do we have there you go, PETRICOR.
Yeah.
Mott, Carrasco, back on Lasix. I think she'll work the trip. I think she's got the best finishing punch that last 3/16 of a mile, but it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be some traffic to kind of navigate through from the top of the stretch home for PETRICOR. Value play, I think we go to Norman Cash.
We do.
Race 4, the 7, Pit Boss, coming in
Blinker's
fresh.
on.
Blinker is on. Some really sharp workouts coming into this. Tactical speed, the ability. I think this is the right kind of group. Face some heavy hits down at Churchill and Oaklawn Park.
Facing some heavy hits. That's Keith Fustel's best bet and value play of the day for the Summer Sizzler Stakes action today. Best of luck to everybody. We'll have Dave Rodman with changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.